Hello, good morning. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim. Wow, my intercom just popped out of my ear.
In the middle of you.
In the middle of exactly. So I just have to slot it in again. just a matter of slotting it again.
Right.
Yeah, so we are back. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. How are you doing? I can see people are still living the Eid and quality mood. I mean, me driving from Lamen to Kairaba Avenue, you can see how empty the streets are. When I got to the office this morning, one of my boss said to me, what happened? Did they send you out of your home this morning? I said, no, the streets are empty. So this is how it's telling you when there is no traffic, how fast you can get to work. You can even leave your home and get here 10 minutes past the hour. So we are back. Lolly, how are you?
Good. Good morning, Mr. Balde.
Madam Bais.
Yes.
How was your Eid?
Alhamdulillah, it was okay. Just that I was a bit sick.
Oh.
On Eid, imagine on Eid day I was sick.
Oh.
But being a mother,
Yes.
being a housewife,
You
I
ca-
couldn't
oh.
be on bed.
Oh.
I just relaxed for 2 hours. I was out on bed and in the kitchen. I cooked, prepared everything.
Lonnie,
And
you know,
alhamdulillah.
when we were very young, I mean, we see our parents struggle a lot for families, keep up, you know, put one or two things together. Even when your mom is sick, you know, okay, mom is not feeling well, she's currently in bed, but still mom will get up and do the cooking.
Absolutely.
And do the laundry,
Yes.
and do certain things for the family. So now look how we got to that stage and we now realize, oh, this is the reason.
Absolutely.
Mr. Mboy Jambar Nget.
Yeah. And you realize that back then, you really couldn't see what was happening behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
You know, you were too young.
That is the
so
thing.
you all have sort of expectations. Mom will do this, mom will do that. You know, all sorts of, things will be sorted out and in the end it will be all right. But you really have no idea.
How mom fixed those things.
Absolutely.
And you know, I realized how my
It's
mom
alive.
struggled to fix that thing, you know, because through that experience, I was like, wow. I used to see my mom struggle, so I have to get up and do it because there's nobody there to do it for me. And like you said, there's expectations to meet, so I have to get up, you know, feel strong and do what I have to do. And alhamdulillah, at the end there was food on the table and it was delicious. Everybody enjoyed. I could see it in their face. Yeah.
Well, that's the responsibility that comes with parenting. I mean, not everybody who can bear the burden of parenting sometimes.
True.
It's because you have to go through so many things, I mean, to make sure your kids are okay, your family is fine. There was a quote that I read few months back. The quote said, I realize why when my dad closed from work, he go out and sit by himself alone and bend his head and start thinking. Because there are many things happening, going around, you know, so a lot of things, Mr. Mboy.
But that's life.
That's life. Yeah, sure.
What else is there? So it's just a question of adapting to what is and moving on. I think the difficulty comes when you cannot adapt to whatever is going on and time doesn't stay still. Time moves on.
True.
Then in the end, I don't know, you get old and die. So you better act now.
That's true,
You know what I
Mr.
mean? So in other words, this is really what is. So this is just accept what is and adapt to it.
Adapt to
There's
it.
nothing else one can
Perfect
do.
explanation. Yes. Yes.
Let's talk about a quote that said, it is one thing to be a father and another thing to be a dad. What is the difference between a father
I don't know.
and a dad?
And I think they're trying maybe to make a distinction between the biological aspects, fatherhood, well, maybe dad is more social, more sociological, it's got more emotional freight, the relationship, the quality of being a father. I think dad, even the informality, you know what I mean, points to a kind of nice relationship, father-son, father-daughter, whatever relationship where things are going well, you know what I mean, you're used to your dad, rather than the formalistic father. You know, some of us had something like that when communications between father and son was sort of always couched in formalistic language. That emotional engagement, not quite. It's only now that fathers and their sons, whatever, would be close like this. But before, it wasn't quite like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't quite like
That's
that.
true. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the change of generation. I can remember when my dad will tell me, okay, during our generation, you are not, you will not have that confidence enough to be talking to your dad, to face your dad and talk. But for us, it's a different generation. We talk to our dad, we sit together. Sometimes dad brew green tea and we all take it while we are sitting together, while he's the one brewing the green tea. So all those things happen. You can see how things are changing, how we are getting more close to our parents, you know. But you can see too, getting close to the parents, I mean, it teaches the kids a different moral. It teaches you how to be more responsible, and getting close to your family, it's the way to go.
I think you become more responsive to whatever your parents are trying to do because of the emotional closeness, the connection. Otherwise, when there is no connection, you see, either you want to teach your kids to do the right thing because they're scared you're going to beat them up, or there's the other kind, you know, you want them to do the right thing because it is the right thing. You know what I mean? You know, because you want to do it because it is the right thing to do. You don't have to fear anything.
No.
You know what I mean? So it depends. Which model do you want to use? There's a certain kind of engagement with your kids where you can get them to do more or less what you want to do because they trust you, they love you because of the relationship. Or you can have the other one where they're scared of you. You know what I mean? It's up to you, where they're scared of you, they're doing things. But again, that fear has a sell-by date. Sooner or later, the fear will go. They'll be getting stronger, you'll be getting older.
Once you are, in fact, once you are not there, you know, they will go back to their old behavior.
So I don't like that model. It's not a good way. And this is the model we had for a very long time, even at school. They used to beat us up a lot, thinking that out of fear we will learn.
But then, sometimes
maybe there's a certain kind of learning that you get from fear, but I think the really creative one, the interesting one, is when you do it out of love. You want to do it because it is the right thing to do. I think that's an extraordinary feeling. It's a fantastic feeling.
Well, I think, Lolly, it depends on the child.
yes. Sometimes they don't want it the soft way.
It depends on the parent. How do you start with all? Unless you want to tell me that people are born with certain things. That way, how do you want the child to change that? Because anything else, the parent was in charge. That's just a baby growing up. So it depends on what you do. So you cannot blame the child.
Because there's this proverb, you know, that it said in Mandinka, you know, was getting there in time, you have to stretch it. But when it's dry, you know, you cannot.
Wow.
So
and from young age, you have to mold these kids, you know, you have to, the upbringing.
Do you see what we do sometimes? In the end, maybe we had not realized perhaps our mistakes. Then we start blaming the child.
You know, when we went to, when we were very young kids and we were taking to the circumcised house in Isids, and you know, I think I was one of the kids who was beaten mercilessly by our kintanks. You know, I was beaten to the extent, still if I think about it, it's like I'm still beaten.
All right, you're
You're
traumatized.
traumatized.
I still remember the face. I still remember the guy. There was a time they said he got a broken arm, and I was celebrating. I was saying, thank God he got a broken
I
arm.
understand you.
Yes.
That is around the
I think
1991.
we all had that one person that we were all scared of that, you know,
Yeah.
anything
I was
that happens,
beaten
we'll be like,
mercilessly.
wow, he deserves it. But, you know, sometimes I think they also do that just to, you know, make us...
No, not deserve.
Okay.
I think the fundamental change is that we are beginning to see that corporal punishment, it is unnecessary. You know, you can bring up your kids to have manners, to have discipline and stuff like that without resorting to the whip. I think that's the fundamental insight.
I'm not solo there.
Wow.
Sometimes
For me, my boys, I don't whip, we fight. I fight. No,
Like
now legi I
blows?
punkal I got 2 punkals.
So you
Now
tell
we-
them, let's fight.
Yes.
And
we-
they'll
we
be like,
fight.
Dad, are you okay?
I take them in their room, lock the door, and we enter. We
No.
only move ourselves.
I've got
You're
three.
kidding.
I've got 3 boys.
And then they fight.
I've
legi.
got 3 boys, and I was very much involved in the upbringing. Really, still am. Never hit them once, but when we go anywhere, I ask you to sit, don't move. You sit and you don't move.
Yeah.
There are known ways of
Just
bringing
like,
up
you know,
children
just
without
like my
hitting
dad
them.
too.
Exactly, yes.
You don't have to hit.
Just like my dad too.
That's
He
it.
never whipped. None.
But
of
whatever
us.
he
So
says,
we
you do it.
Like our last born, now I'll
That's
always
it.
tease my mom. I'm like, is my
That's
dad old now? Why is he doing stuff by himself? He's deciding. Now, my dad is no more talking. He's not reacting.
that-
I remember when I was about
that is-
going to grade 10, I had to, I refused to choose Armitage because there was this myth that, you know, there are genes and everybody will see. So my dad was like, my friend, you will go there and all your siblings will go to Armitage because that's where your elder brother started.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah. So when results came out, I happened to go Armitage and I was in the morning shift. So if you admit in the morning shift, you have to sleep there. You have to stay in the campus.
Okay.
So I was like, no, my plans have got, you know, ruined already.
Absolutely.
So, but I came up with another plan. I thought I would still have chance to escape Amity. So I told my dad, sometimes when I go to bed, I see stuff. I don't sleep at night. I see jinns. So my dad's like, no, minka jinoje, wabuka fonka jinoje. If you see it, you don't talk.
That knows.
Because it's so powerful that you
You know,
so my
say-
friend, you'll have
You
to
have
just
to go
continue.
back and beer.
And beer.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, so we have the African proverb. You cannot learn all the hunter's tricks in one day.
It's true.
The hunter got a lot of tricks, and you cannot learn them. Just,
In one day.
you know, in one day.
That's it. So what does it tell you about learning?
There are
This
many ways.
process we call
There are many ways
learning.
to kill the cat.
Yes, there are many ways to skin a cat. Some people
Yes.
say that. Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You know.
But do you think that's what this apparently Swahili? I've
Yeah,
seen
it's
here
Swahili proverb.
Proverb. Do you think that's what this thing is saying? This proverb is saying that there are many ways to, as you put it, kill a cat. Do you think that's what this proverb is saying?
Well, it's
think-
telling you knowledge is wide. You know,
cannot-
it's like a river. You can swim and swim and swim, and you know, you can't swim enough. So it's telling you you cannot. No man is an island. You know, you cannot know the tricks of the hunter in one day. So you have to be committed. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be ready for every action you want to take for you to know the tricks of the hunter.
You gotta have the character to be a good learner. It takes patience, and you listen a lot more than you talk. 2 ears, one mouth. Yeah, you need to be persistent. You will face difficult moments, but you need to be persistent in many ways. So these are the things, and know that it's through experience that you really learn.
Sure.
You see, this hunter, the whole thing about the hunter, about learning, seeing the hunter in action,
And dedication too. You have
in
to be
dedication, in different contexts. so that you can get the nuances of an activity, stuff like that. So this is it. Some of us, you know, now we are nearly 60. We've lived it in many ways. We've realized how over the years our thinking on certain subjects, how it had evolved. Then you realize, oh my God, when I was at 30, what I thought, now I've seen a perspective. You're still learning. You know what I mean? So learning is about time, patience, persistence, and all sorts of things.
That's true.
Really. So, and practical learning. Can you imagine this, the difference? You want to learn about how to change a tire. Well, you're reading it from a book, a manual. And there's the other one where you've got the hands-on doing it.
Yeah.
Never the same.
Never the same.
Never the same.
Gradual improvement.
But you know, where you are hands-on doing it, it's more practical. It's easier to remember that than to just take a book and you're just reading the manuals. You should change this, you should do that. You know what I mean? You can't see it. You can't. It's very, very difficult to learn that way. So that is the virtue of practical, hands-on learning. But that takes time.
So you're telling me practical is more effective than the theory?
Yes, in that practical is about actually doing it. Theory is a manual telling you how to do it. So I would rather be actually doing it than be reading about how to do it.
Absolutely. So when, for instance, when there is no manual to do it, when the book is not around, so but the experience.
But what we know of the brain actually, it's better to do. When you're doing, that's when mistakes come up. But that's the opportunity to learn.
True.
Isn't it? Because every mistake will allow you, first, you have to think about the solution. So there's a deeper engagement with the subject. That's it. This is why mistakes are so fruitful. Without mistakes, there's no learning. This is the irony. This is the paradox. This is the paradox of our situation.
Mistakes can also be an advantage at some point.
That's what I mean. Without mistakes, you're not learning. This is exactly what it is. So the whole thing about learning about something is about making so many mistakes that sort of in the end you get the hang of it. So this is the paradox of it. So never be scared to make a mistake. You see, you meet a lot of,
but not deliberate mistakes.
No, mistakes by definition are not deliberate. If they were deliberate, they wouldn't be mistakes. There's no intentionality. This is what is meant. They're not deliberate at all. Let us be careful here. So yes, you're bound to make mistakes.
Exactly. So at this point, we'll take a short break. After the break, the program it's going to continue. You're watching QTV This Morning, and the program is sponsored by Q Money. Sunyu Kalpe. We'll be back.
Again with its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds. With the new Q Money app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy Q Power, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send Q Money, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
We are back. You're watching QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Now let's move to the newspaper review segment, and we have quite interesting stories making headlines here. Serekunda National Assembly member raises community concern in Parliament. You understand? There are a lot of things happening in Parliament. A lot of parliamentarians will come and raise their concern, and on different sittings. But at the end of the time, whether those concerns will be passed, whether those bills will be passed, whether those problems raised by the National Assembly member will make an impact, it's left to the Parliament to decide.
Well, there are different things you've said there. What did the member say? Is that Musa Cham?
Yes, that's Musa Cham.
Okay.
I think that was just the headline. You know, we haven't gone deep in the story. We just saw the front page, and you know, you couldn't tell what exactly he is referring to. Community concerns.
Okay, fine. But more generally, as a member of the National Assembly, there are social issues. I don't know. Maybe my people from my constituency bring problems. Yes, of course, these are the things that I should put in Parliament through discussions, going through the procedures. Is it something that we should make into a law? So there are many processes and procedures that one must follow. You know what I mean? So in this case, it would be difficult really to talk about it because one doesn't have the details really to delve into it and try to make sense of it.
That's it. Yeah.
But more generally, there are processes in which one
and I
can...
think they're also there to talk about, you know, things that are affecting people in our society, to make laws and amend stuff. So, yeah.
Yes, and that's just one aspect of it. I don't think that's even the biggest problem.
No.
You know what I mean? The biggest problem is once you've made those laws, how do you implement them? Implementing them and getting the outcomes that you want as a society. I think this is where we fall short generally. This is where we've been falling short really since independence. That translation, you know, from words to action, to outcome, that's been quite a challenge, to say the least.
Well, you realize 2026 election is fast approaching. This is March or April.
April.
This is April already.
Yeah.
And 2026 is coming. 2026 will be a very interesting time in Gambia because as far as the political landscape is concerned, you know, this is going to be the most interesting election.
Why? Why should it be more interesting than all the elections we've had in the past? That was a question.
You're putting him on the spot.
There are a lot of things going on. In 2016, 2017, we've transitioned to a democratic rule. And, you know, there are people who are in support of democracy. There are people who are not in support of democracy. You understand? There are people who are in support of development agendas of the current government. There are people who are not in support of certain things, the way they govern. So that's why I said it's going to be a very interesting.
Well, Mr. Balde, man, si suma halat.
Yeah.
Thing ne, dafa nekk comme the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Nit ñi jóg dem si poll si, ñu saani suñ karta, ku ñëw ku foog ne mooy lii daal lii. I don't think ne dina am benn difference compared to yeneen yi de.
Absolutely. Well, he hasn't made the case. Maybe,
Wow.
but you have not made the case at all. 2026, can you imagine the 2026 Mugana pivotal 2016?
Ah,
That was
no.
an extraordinary
No,
moment.
Bobo,
It can never be.
no, it can never be.
Yes.
If I tell you 2026 would be very interesting. I mean, it is somehow resembling 2016.
Maybe nit yi
It's
dañ moo gën a aware.
So there are people.
In what way?
There are people. I might not be able to tell you that on air because if I say that, it might bring a mixed feeling. You understand, to our viewers. So I will try to reserve that. But it's kind of giving me that environment. That's why I said that.
You see, but this is the problem now. Because you cannot defend your point, use the evidence, it's confidential evidence, well, I cannot engage with you.
So I prefer
true.
that to be confidential.
That's it, so there will be no engagement.
No.
So let's move on to the next topic.
So, I mean, government to pay salaries to Imam Ratib, head of Christian Council.
government to pay salaries.
Yes. Every month, the imams will receive a salary, and the imams will be paying tax as well. I hope they'll be paying tax, and the Christian Council as well. Well, I think it's fair enough. I mean, head of religious, religions in the Gambia, Christianity and Islam, these are the two main religions in the Gambia. I don't know of other religion, but I know of Christianity and Islam. So you can see how imams and pastors or fathers, how they contribute a lot when it comes to the society. But at some point they do it, without anything in although you shouldn't do, when it comes to God, you don't do anything, to be paid or something. But I think it would be fair enough to give an imam a token of appreciation. Okay, this is your fuel when you're going to attend functions.
There's a gaping contradiction in what you've just said. I'm of a different generation. For a very long time, nobody did that, paying salaries to imams and bishops. Can you imagine?
So yeah, because I'm
These
thinking,
groups should be taking care of themselves. I am not sure whether one would want government to be involved in stuff like that. You see, the domain of material political relationships, that is its domain. I don't like the confusion. You have the domain of the spiritual. Let's keep it spiritual. I don't like the two to mix in many ways. So I have to be honest. I'm not sure whether I am comfortable with that idea.
I think they should not have called it salary.
Because, I
not
don't think the imams have been appointed by the government.
That's it.
Yes.
Been
I'm
appointed.
your employer.
That's it.
You are not my employer.
That's it. That's the point.
This is of a higher calling.
Yeah.
These are two different
These are
domains.
two.
So I have a problem with the name. It should not have been called salary. Maybe a token,
allowance.
a token that is given to the imam for maintenance or something. But salary would be more attached to the to the ruling party or the government of the day. And I think when it comes to religion,
I think the way government can really serve religion is to live according to religious precepts, to rule, govern according.
so let's wait and see what will happen. And of course, we also have another story. Fire incident claims the lives of 2 naval officers in Banjul. There was a jar oil truck at the naval unit in Banjul. They went to fuel some of their machines, and unfortunately, there was a spark and a fire incident, and claimed the lives of 2 naval officers.
Was it really a spark? Because remember at Sandika, there was also talk of a spark when Nawe came and said, no, their installations had nothing to do with that. And this one as well, do we actually know as a fact, as a matter of fact, this was what happened? Or this is what people are saying, that this is what happened? But that's been a series of fire incidents. We've been reporting these recently. Maybe we need to start talking seriously about what's going on here. Is it our attitude towards safety? Is there something that we should go back and really think about? Possibly so. Perhaps we seem to be slack on safety.
Safety precautions.
Can we go back, the precautions you need to take. Whatever installations, whatever you're doing, you're making, you make them to the highest standards. You know what I mean? The infrastructural aspects of things to be all of high standards.
You have just said it all. We have to go back and look at the safety precautions. How do we dispose some of these things? You're talking of fuel, and it's something that is hot. You can't just come and, you know, dispose it anyhow. And those that are receiving it, how are they also receiving these things? So we really need to go back and look at a lot of things. Because recently fire outbreaks are becoming common in our daily
rampant.
news.
I mean, a lot of things happening. I think there should be steps taken so that certain things we shouldn't take them lightly. I think that, you know, one, I mean, it escalates. There can be a loss of life. So those are things that we shouldn't take lightly. And I think henceforth there'll be attention to that area as well.
You see, in any activity, whoever the head is in any institution, whoever the head is, whatever you need to do, you must insist on safety measures. We have our standards and we keep to it. Our problem is we are so lax, we are so casual with stuff like that. Oh, growl, and then this attitude that held in a hewa, it's quite fatalistic in many ways. So I will compromise on all sorts of things because whatever will happen will happen. Sera, sera. You know, very fatalistic. It's an extraordinary mindset. I hate it. I'm always speaking against it. I think that what I do matters. Agency, individual agency. So much of what I do matters. There's nothing fatalistic about it. There's nothing. No way. Life doesn't work like that at all. What I do actually matters. It makes a difference in the end, really. So it's just the way some people, that aspect, individual agency, is taken to the back. And then there's something else, sort of something providential, driving your actions. I disagree.
That's true. Thank you, Mr. Boch, for reviewing the papers with us and African Code. Now we'll take a short break, then we head to the other segment of this program. We'll be right back.
Thank you, Mr. Boch.
Kiumoni arti webi na fitora gol no yawi te non kadi no moƴƴi kiumoni a wawa wadde piiji ɗin fow kala ko wonɗa wattu kala a wawa hendade mbuuɗi maɗin e o kiumoni abke song a wawa nattinde mbuuɗi ma ɗum yaltina soda crédit soda kiw pawa soda ko falaɗa te non kadi wawa hen yoɓude himɓe e ko heewi ina wawi kadi nuldude kiumoni yoɓa bilji maɗin te non kadi hendoɗa mbuuɗi ko yaasi nulda himɓe kadi mbuuɗi fi nafitoragol ɗum no weeɓi yahu ka play store ma ɗum ka app store fi wawa fuɗɗade fi heɓugol hen ko laaɓi noddu kiwmoni customer care e 133 kiwmoni suñu kalpe minen udditi lawol ngol si woɓɓe jokki kiwmoni e muruntananne koteke anilañi mobile app sone yariŋo a lannayata ndun e se kuwol be keno ibe dawoda wati o wati e se muna fanno ila kodola anin kiwmoni la ñim mobile app kuto e se kodo dundino ye kodo fintinde e se credit ko sanno ye kiw power sang ye feŋol sang ndun fanan e se mol jono anin ku jamalu e se kiwmoni kino yela bilol jo ndun fanan bantala banko se kodo kiyeno e se kodo fanan kino do koteŋe pour que muna fañinna a download sign play store anin app store ni laftaka kusenango soto je kiwmoni customer care commandi 133 kiwmoni suñu kalpe ntollenga silo walang dole mol noma kiwmoni delsina ak sen mobile app bu bees bi orna gawna te it mun nga ko jëfande ko pour def ci lo buga fo mun dine wattu bu ne mun nga jot sa xaalis ak kiwmoni mobile app bu bees bi mun nga dugal xaalis génne xaalis jënd si crédit jënd si kiw power jënd lo buga ak yu bari mun nga ci yone kiwmoni fay sa bill si jot xaalis bitim réew yónnee xaalis ci noo ko bëggee looy def yombana downloadal app bi léegi ca Play Store bu dul loolu App Store pour nga door pour am si lu leer koolal Qmoney customer care si 133 Qmoney suñu kalpe ñoo xaali yoon wi ñeneen toppa
Welcome back. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Now let's head to the third segment of this program, and we'll be talking about innovation. And as you know, the world is moving, and there are many things that are being invented now to make life very easy for the people. And Gambia Armed Forces robotic engineer invents a firefighting robot. I mean, I saw it on social media circulating, and the demonstration on how the robot is going to extinguish fires. And we have Captain Alaji Ndongo with us in the studio. Ndongo is the inventor of this robot. It's good to have you on QTV this morning. How are you, Mr. Ndongo?
Thank you very much. I'm fine.
Nice. This is really something very interesting. And we all know fighting fires sometimes can be very stressful, especially when it is an inferno. You know, the Gambia Armed Forces coming up with this, you know, particularly you, Mr. Ndongo, inventing such a robot. Please take us through this. Tell us how this idea came about, and of course, what are the things that you put together to make sure this thing works?
Thank you very much. This idea came to my mind 7 months ago when I was in Kafuta. From there, I started buying these materials, ordering even some of them from China. I have to order the remote control, receiver, cyber motor, and also going inside town, searching certain material like this electric motor, batteries, and so on. After I started the project completed, I think, last month. Or no, sorry, 2 months back. 2 months back.
So how long does it take to develop that project?
7 months.
7 months.
7
It
months.
took you 7 months to develop
Yes.
the robot.
Also to get certain this materials and the financial problem also. I have to gather money also. Also, because it's very costly. It's very costly.
How expensive is that? You know, the whole project. I mean, how expensive? When you talk about expensive, what is expensive to you?
Anyway, this project cost me almost $20-something thousand. This project.
And you have to finance it yourself?
Myself.
Okay. All right. So what is this telling us as a people? I mean, how far can we go with innovation? Because people might think in Gambia we cannot do certain things.
Anyway, Gambia we can do more than this. More than this. If I have the support today, even the white people, they will talk about Gambia. I promise. Because my plan also to build armed robot, where you can place your AK-47 and you control it.
Is that safe? Is that one going to be safe? I don't trust machines there. You give a machine AK-47 and it fire everybody.
No, you control it.
Yes.
You control it.
So I want you to explain to us how this firefighting robotic machine is going to operate and how it is going to help you, you know, do your work effectively. Because I know it is important, especially in the area that you operate, security.
Can you repeat your...
How this robotic machine is going to enhance your work.
Okay.
How it is going to help you to execute your work. Because I know you develop it for some reason. You understand? So what really inspired you? You have said that, you know, and how is it going to help you in your work?
And what inspired me now, this world, technology now is controlling the world, especially when you come to drone, robots. Now everything now is robot. Yes, everything now is robot.
Exactly. It will be important for us to do this in the local language. Mbokk yi ñu ngi leen a jaajëfal di leen ñu ngi waxtaan ak ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk Gambia Armed Forces. Mr. Ndongo moom dafa defar machine boo xam ne dafa fay safara comme tey moo nekk loo leen a gis seen screen bi noonu su nekkee ne safara am na.
Waaw.
mun na moo toog rek mu machine bi demal boppam.
waaw because su safara amee am na yoo place yoo xam ne nit du mu
doo
fa mun a dugga dafa risky.
Wow, loolu la. I've seen a similar machine. Why this time it's a bomb diffuser, like where they put a bomb, they fixed a bomb, and the machine will come in and diffuse the bomb.
Diffuse.
Yes, I've seen that
So
on.
you
yeah.
see, that is the machine trying to show some demonstrations.
Yeah, so this is how it works. Nila machine bi de
waaw
doxee.
léegi yow mun nga ñoo explainal comme machine bi léegi ñu ngi gis ci screen bi léegi machine bi lan lam nekk di def nii.
fu mu nekk nii mu ngi dem si boori safara bi pour jege safara bi pour mun koo fay loolu foofu la nekk di jëm nii daal waaw.
so dafa amee ndox nii yaa ngi amee remote bi tamit donc loo def si bi léegi su jege see lan la moo jël pour fay ko gaz ndox.
powder. Wow. Powder. Because the first day launching bi dama amoon failure naka la sax the first bottle moo defoon dama fa am failure moo tax that day we cannot use mënuñu use lifin bi powder bi dañu use ndox moo tax ñu bari maa ngi gis ñu ngi comment understanding lan mooy because this is machine anytime can fail.
so lii la
anytime.
You got a solar panel installed.
lii yëpp si lii bi la.
So solar panel bi lu moo doxal.
Anyway, solar panel bi moo de kun charge battery bi.
Okay.
From there to charge
waaw mu ngi génnee lii bi.
Wow.
Wow.
So léegi, what about the nozzle? I can see nozzle bi mu ngi move di egg di wàcca. So nozzle bi naka lan moo nekk di control nozzle bi comme that pipe that extinguish the fire.
Nozzle bi dafa am benn electric moto moo ko dee nekk di control electric moto. moo ko dee control pour mu dem in case soo amee safara si kaw mu fay ko soo amee si suuf mu fay wala si kanam. nozzle bi am na lu fi ñu bari lu mu war a liggéey and also comme soo amee caméra pour collect information. su nekkee information mu ngi si kaw mun na ko jël si suuf mun na ko jël wala si kanam.
dafa am caméra.
waaw am na caméra waaye caméra ba also dama ko war a order.
Okay.
dama ko war a order. daa ne du ma laajte dama doon very costly. waaw dafa costly trop. boo tax dama ko war a order.
Okay, so this is very important, and I think the Gambia Armed Forces and the Gambia Fire and Rescue Service war nañoo mun a ñëw ñu collaborate. pour gars yi gën a mun a joxe di support to
foofu laa ko bëggoon a laajte sax
pour gën a defar lii
nii because yow soo boo amoon idea bi ndax discuss nga ko ak sa supérieur si sa organisation bi ba pare tamit comme lu mu waxee ndax pare nañ pour collaborate ak Gambia Fire Rescue Services.
I don't think so. nu ma gisee Gambia daal I don't think so xam nañ njëriñ yi technology I don't think so am nañ si interest daal nu ma ko di gisee nii daal. waaw comme si yeneen dëkk yi soo gisee si yeneen dëkk yi gars yi even maa ngi foofu ma ko tise am na benn Congolese am na interest trop pour ma liggéey ak moom. waaw Congolese moom tamit daf dee invent moom tamit Congolese day commencé waaye daa ne de situation now is Congo. dañ reyangoon wax bi fu mu nekk ba si kanam. waaw. Mr Moses la tudda. ñu doon communicate. day ne mi ñu amee interest suma liggéey bi si outside the country. melut ni si biir dëkk. si lifin bi biir dëkk bi noonu laa ko gisee.
I've seen I mean the US using this similar machine waaye ñoom pour diffuse a bomb la. understand nga because dafa am yenn place yoo xam ne soo fa defee bomb. nit du fa mun a dugga pour mu génne ba waaye machine boobu dafa amee caméra dafa dugga ba pare dafa amee ay loxo ni dafa ñëw mu téye bomb bi mu génne ko si biti. Wow, so it's similar to this. So léegi let's talk about the machine itself. Let's start from the welding. mu ngi mel ni ay bars nga use iron bars ak yooyu noonu pour nga mun a defal frame bi ak lu mel noonu.
Yes, dama use iron bar pour weld di frame bi. waaw iron bar laa use. daa use different weldermen pour ñu usuma kenn rek. su ma dee mu defaral ma lii ma jox ko idea bi nii laa ko bëggee mu defaral ma nu ma ko bëggee.
So how did you call it? Is it Cam Robot?
Cam Robot. It's Cam Robot.
That's how you call it?
Yes, Cam Robot. I named it after late Colonel Abdullah Mboup. The C mean Colonel A. Abdullah M. Mboup.
Colonel Abdullah Mboup.
You see also the number is the G52 G52 39.
Okay, that's
It's his army number.
Oh, okay.
Army number.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The family must be very proud.
Yes. You are right.
To see this. May he so
Even
rest in
our
peace.
family, they attended the launching.
Okay.
The family was there.
Okay.
They attended it.
All right. So what is the way forward, Mr. Ndongo? What are you looking forward? Are you just danga defar bena bi rek
nga pare si wala
nga lekk xaalis rek nga toog
moom si biir waxam bi wax na ne moom si biir waxam bi wax na ne moom su Gambia pare tubaab bi sax dina ñu ñee ko xam nga ne bii kii moom am na big mission ak vision pour the Gambia su fekkee am na support bu mu soxla yëpp
anyway man li utuma si xaalis since maa ngi xale bu ndaw maa ngi koy def xam nga su ma si doon ut xaalis fekk bàyyi naa tey because dama dee def spend suma xaalis end of the day duma fa dee am dara xam nga su ma doon ut dara since I think suma first newspaper was 1995 Daily Observer
ñu ngi la feature foofu
waaw ñu ngi maa feature since that time ñu ngi maa feature
boobu defar waa lan nga defar
anyway time boobu télé laa defaroon
télévision
télévision defaroon naa moto tamit kenn nit ma fa dee duga yaa ngi koy drive ñu ngi ko loncoon KMC bu I think 2002.
Is it the green car?
No, it's not green. That one is white.
I saw a green car.
It's white. It's white car.
Moto mu daw
waaw kenn nit moo fa dee duga mu dawal ko defaroon na tamit lonca boo xam ne combat lonca
okay
da ngay dugal sel bi you can fire it defaroon naa tamit also sniper rifle
kon mu ngi mel ni
sniper rifle
garaaw si
daa
army
gis
bi
ne
dem.
even the bullet bi nekku ne dama ko use their order wala yooyu noonu I use my own bullet nga xam ne batterie moo ko dee operate
nga defar sa own bullet
yes own bullet waaye batterie moo ko dee operate am na yeneen bullet yoo xam ne xama moo ko dee lifin kok mu fay waaye bi ne batterie moo ko dee operate waaw moo ko dee operate
dëgg la so am na ku nekk di laaj mu ne bullet boobu mun naa rey ndax du rey
anyway mun naa rey
em Jallow kon moytul balaa bullet boobu di la laal yeah so léegi what is the way forward yow ban support nga bugga pour ñu jàpp because xam nga ñun Gambia fii dañ war di fonka ba pare ñu fulal suñ invention ok nit bu mu defar dara rek ñu xoolee ko as if kii lu moo def caaxaan la
waaw
you know we have to be very serious as a people gis nga tubaab bi soo gisee ñoom ñuy dem si kaw kii su demee si kaw ñëpp a ko dee téye ñu puus ko
jàppale ko
waaw waaye ñun su ñoo dem si kaw gaa dañ la dee xoolee nuunu xoolee la nuunu waaye di thing soo try ba nga àgga si kaw ñëpp ñu ne non suñ Gambian bi àgga na si kaw so we have to be dañ war a fonka suñ liggéey fonka suñ ay brothers tey believe naa ne bu nekkee ne keneen moo jógee si biti mu ñëw mu defar lii fii ñëpp dañoo taxaw kii mu ngi defar lu garaaw kii mu ngi defar lu garaaw ñu jàppale ko waaye ñun suñ nit ñi ñu téye leen di leen caaxaane moo tax soo amee Congo xam nga Congo la
yaa Congo yes
soo amee koy partner foofu demal nga partner ak moom de because man
Mr. Balde waaye kii moom dañ koo maintain kii dañ ko fi
su nekkee ne ñun
déedéet léegi lu ñu mën a def moom
boo ko lancé how many days la
2 months
almost now 1 week plus
léegi ñaata nit ñoo reach out si yow ñu jox la chèque bu baax
anyway no check
xoolal loolu rek ku wees xaalisam
ba léegi
di mbu family bi daal at least ñoom tamit
waaw ñoom kontaan nañ
trop
joxe nañ seen token of appreciation
waaw maire bi dafa woon ne bu ma ko wax waaye xam nga tamit
maire bi foog ñu wax ko rek
waaye il faut ma jël ko bëgg waaye mu jël mu ne moom si xolam bi la ma ko jox
I know waaye foog ñu wax ko rek so we have to be very serious because bu nekkee ne motivate wuñ ko
definitely
moom tam
at some point dina discourage right now ni nu other countries nekk di reach out to him he might at some one point bugga dem ak yooyu noonu waaye we hope ne inshallah the needed support will come as soon as possible comme nuñ ko nekk di fesal ni ñun tamit ñu ngi lii lañ mën a def su nekkee di def dara ñu fesal ko wonal ko àdduna bi ñu war a see jàppale ñu jàppale la si loolu ñun lii mooy suñ taxawaay fii
absolutely
si mën a def
and I'll be very happy to see you si international robot competition
yes thank you
nga dem yow tam nga wone sa liggéey understand
because Gambia am na ñi demoon am na xale yu ndaw yoo xam ne
Wow.
school kids lañ demoon na about 3 of them ñu represent Gambia ñoom tam ñu ngi li am na organisations yoo xam ne ñu ngi lifin fii nii xam nga wisdom yeeg yooyu noonu they're into science and technology so if you can also reach out to those people nga partner with them to make your work very easy and sometimes xam nga comme no they order stuff they might be of help to you yeah.
Okay, that one is true.
Yeah.
I'll try maybe also try and partner with them. Partner with them, inshallah.
Yeah, exactly. We definitely want to see this go further.
Absolutely.
You know, we want to see your invention. People coming from different parts of the world or ordering it. You understand? We want you to start getting your workshop where you invent.
Yeah, because imagine sometimes fire service, if you have a motor being dog you know, but if you have 2 or 3 things like this, robots in your defense safara.
So what about fire service?
Anyway, before I go there, also IT people can come here and order it. But to be honest, I can tell you, I'm the first African to invent. Go to Google, you check, to invent firefighting robot. Go to Google. A part of the white people, I'm the first person to invent firefighting robot.
That is amazing.
Yes.
In fact, today these guys should be celebrated. I'm telling you.
Some people are pulling my leg.
No, they shouldn't pull your legs.
Pushing me, they are pulling my leg.
No,
I cannot understand.
So don't accept. Don't accept.
No, nobody can discriminate me. Inshallah.
Because,
nobody.
like you said, this is a passion, and you've been doing it ever since. So just continue doing it,
inshallah.
And inshallah, it will pay off someday.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Yeah, just knock on doors. People that you think you can partner, organizations that you can partner with, go to them. Show your work to them, and you know, work from there. Yes.
You are right.
Yeah. Rome was not built in a day. So
yes, you are right.
Yeah.
if you check where I started up to this stage
today, you're on TV talking
there's
about.
There's a lot of this development. Yes.
That alone.
This improvement.
That
where I started up to this stage now.
Yeah, you know, consistency is also very key, Mr. Ndongo.
Yes,
I mean, you shouldn't do it. And, you know, maybe you didn't get the bigger support and you lean back. I think you need to move on. You need to push. You need to invent something. Maybe you try to see, okay, how best to improve this again. Okay, this time I did not put this. Why not I put that thing? This time, why not I put a bigger container?
Bigger container, yes, you are right.
So all those things are an area of improvement.
Yeah, gradual improvement, yeah.
You know, this one is very small. Even the container is small. Only thing we need to build big one, you can put there big bottles, even 2 to 3 bottles. When the other one finish, you switch to the other one. When that will finish, switch to the other one. What is my plan now? I need to build bigger one. Yes.
So is there any support from the authorities? I mean, you might not want to mention it, I know. You might not want to mention it, but I mean, they should come on board and support you, my brother. I mean, if everybody is talking about your invention,
yes,
you should be supported.
You are right.
You are not saying it, I'm the one saying it.
Yes, you are right.
You should come and support Mr. Ndongo. I mean, everybody have seen what he invented, and we are proud of him. It's the first African to do this. You know, if people are celebrating him and people want to work with him outside, why not us?
Yeah.
You know, it's high time to change our attitude as a people. Yeah, so finally, what do you have to tell the people, Balanyo Tagato?
So anyway, support.
I would have given you the chance
yes,
to give out a number, but I can only give you the chance to read out a QCell number online.
Yes, you are right.
Mr. Ndongo, you got a QCell line?
I have QCell.
You have QCell line.
3419507.
341?
34. Say it again. 341
95 07.
9507.
341 9507. If you want to partner with him,
yes, reach out. On this
341 9507 is his number. So you keep in touch. 341 9507, or you can still email us at news at qtv.gm. News at qtv.gm.
Yes, so finally,
thank you for talking to us on QTV this morning. And, you know, we hope to engage you more in the future, and we hope you will continue inventing.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I also thank the whole media houses in the Gambia. This time they try a lot, especially QTV. Thank you very much. for your wonderful
Thank you.
work.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, so viewers, we'll take a short break. After the break, then we'll talk to PRO Simon Low. GID intercepts migrants. I mean, they want to stop the bad way, but it's a bit complicated. I hope the Gambia immigration can do that. Yeah, so we'll be right back.
Go, ebe dawa full network suda tili QCell. Ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata QCell. Most reliable network dumala keta wati QCell. Wo quality man nyon soda jam ona manke QCell. Hanibe wulo ni farole kono walante be bako na jala fayola network ko se taria QCell. Sunny boss. Nyo finjeka indi 3G new delu taxi 4G plus and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Sunny boss. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Gambia bela nyon tawo fele QCell. Ko fasunta buka busi QCell. Itella multi milka kukutol nati Gambia QCell meta lori la kilianol yele imanyina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma QCell Sunibus QCell Sunibus Connect solo be bambandi QCell QCell most innovative QCell Sunibus.
Money imurundana ne koteke anila ni mobile app sone yaringo alanna yata ndu ise kuol bekeno ibeda woda wati ise munafanno ila kodola anin Money la ni mobile app kuto ise kodo dundino ye kodo fintinde ise credit ko sanno ye power sang ye fengol sang ndu fanan ise mol jono anin ku jamalu ise Money kino yela biloljo ndu fanan bantala banko se kodo kiyeno ise kodo fanan kino do kotenge kurke munafanyina a download sign Play Store anin App Store ni laftaka kusere ngosoto je Money customer care commandi 133 Money suñu kalpe ntolle nga silo walang dole mol noma.
Yes, we are back. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Mabalde. Now let's move to the last segment of this program. And we have the Gambia Immigration PRO, Mr. Simon Low, in the studios with us. The Gambia Immigration Department intercepts migrants. I mean, migrant situation in West Africa and other parts of the world is really alarming. Every day we intercept, but still people are moving from one place to another, especially the dangerous journey using the Mediterranean Sea. Yeah, so Mr. Simon Low, is it ISP or?
It's Inspector.
Inspector. Yes. I am used to Mr. Yes. So it's good to have you here. How are you doing?
I am doing well, and then thank you so much for having us again on the Gambia this morning. So.
Yeah. So let's go through the interception of these migrants. Can you take us through?
Thank you so much. So just as a usual routine at the GIDS level, we're almost very much active towards trying to mitigate irregular migration. And viewers can also remember that last year we have been doing the same thing. We had close to 700 migrants who were intercepted last year. And it is in the same spirit that we also commenced the same operations this year as well. So from the first quarter of 2025, that is January down to March alone, we've had about 4 interceptions. Okay. And this number would show you that it is at an increased level, and then it's alarming. For instance, in March alone, we had 3 interceptions. On the 3rd of March, we had a case whereby a boat was abandoned at around Bijilo behind the monkey park. And it was believed that that boat had about 75 migrants who traveled from the Gambia going down all the way into Senegal. But then along the way, they had an engine failure and then they could not continue, so they had to decide to come back to the Gambia. And when they came back, based on those environment that they came in, some of them fell sick, and then they had to rush to the hospital. So when we were informed, we went to the scene, and then we were able to at least have 21 migrants who were at the hospital to seek medical attention. In the second case we also had was on the 17th of March, that is around Bara. On the 17th of March, we had about 34 migrants who were also intercepted. And the chief organizer of the particular event was a Senegalese in this case. Bara had been a hot spot when it comes to irregular migration. Last year we had similar occurrences. And then if you look at the way the Gambia's landscape, there are certain places we see as hot spots to irregular migration. So Bara is among those areas. So in this particular scene, we had 34 migrants who were also intercepted. And then we were also able to find the culprits who were involved to be arrested. And then we're also now taking further efforts to try to prosecute them in the legal way. The third one we had in the same March was on the 21st of March. So for that particular case, it was a bit different with its dynamics because we have not met them in a boat going out, but then they were all harbored within a particular compound, in a 3-bedroom apartment. So what happened was a neighbor who lived close to that compound had observed some uncommon movements within the compound there. And that was when he informed our operations commander in West Coast, in Brikama, that something might be fished at that particular spot. So on that 20th of March, our officers had to go there, surveil the entire environment, and observe what was happening. And then we noticed that they had so many people in that compound, a very small compound with just 3 bedrooms. And you had about 75 people living in the same compound. So the following day, we had to engage with the task force committee of Brikama, that is the PIU officers, together with our GID staff to also go and raid that particular area. So when we went, we found that we had 75 people. And out of this number, only 4 of them were Gambians. The rest are all non-Gambians. And the saddest part was the fact that the organizer of that particular event, presumably Abdou Diop, was also a Senegalese. So it tends to now ask a question, why do we have non-Gambians using the Gambia as a transit to engage into irregular migration? There are factors responsible of that. But then at our level too, we think it's, despite just focusing on those factors, we still have to mitigate the practice of irregular migration. So most recently, just on the 31st of March, as we closed the March itself, going into April, we had a 4th case. And there we had also 34 migrants who were also intercepted by the PIU staff we have around Brufut. And then those were also harbored in the compound in Brufut Sanimentering. And then they were transferred from there to the boat where they can lodge and now depart on the Canary Islands. So these particular cases all occurred in the month of March, 4 different cases. We're talking about 160 people all being intercepted. Now, we would tend to ask the question, why is it occurring in common cases? Is it the fact that Gambians are still with the mindset that we can only make it when we go out there? Or do we have to also consider the repercussions of us traveling into the Mediterranean Sea? We have seen families falling apart. We have seen people who have lost their children because of irregular route. And our work is not just to control the borders, but also to save the lives of Gambians. So I think it's important we see this as a national call and find best mechanisms to at least mitigate the practice of irregular migration.
All right. So what methods, does the immigration department use to monitor, migrants?
Well, through our interagency operations, because it is not just a work of the GID. When it comes to security, we have to work together as different agencies. For instance, the GID works together with the Gambian Navy because the Navy are usually engaged into sea patrols. We also work with the fire rescue services together with the Gambia Red Cross societies. So our primary way of being able to track most of these cases, first we are able to draw a mapping of all the hotspots in the Gambia that are believed to be regular migration spots where people can easily take a route. And then now we keep an eye on those areas. That is why recently they've been trying to now maneuver to run away from those areas and start new different mechanisms. You will see they will sometimes have to take a boat into the sea and lodge there for some days. Now they'll be taking them in bits and pieces to join the regular boat. So we have been working together with the Gambian Navy in our sea patrol, our border patrols, everything had been ongoing. And it is through this, together with the community support, because we have to say that if it is just us, it may not be a very easy ride. But people also are very meticulous. They would observe that, okay, a particular boat is moving, they will give us a call. Or while it is just been happening, before it advanced to a different stage, they can give us the tips and we now work on those intelligence. So intelligence sharing together with our interagency cooperation had been very much key in our strive to reduce irregular migration. But then again, we also work with other partners. We work with Guardia Civil. We also work with COP Gambia that have also been supporting us when it comes to operations of how to reduce irregular migration.
So in this operation, especially the recent one, you've said about 160 have been, intercepted. How many minors and women were involved in this case?
So it's sad. If you have a first-hand experience with migrants, you tend to ask yourself, how do we even think as Gambians? And it's not just, let's say, as West Africans itself. Our case on the 21st of March, we had a whole family, the husband and the wife, together with 2 kids. They're both minors who are taking the irregular route. And if you speak to them, they will tell you that even though this one had been foiled, I will still try again to move.
Wow.
So the case we had on the 21st, we had 4 minors and 4 women who are all involved in this particular case. And the women, in fact, seem to be more active in this route if you talk to them in most cases. We understand that there are factors responsible still, but then it's sometimes risky to put a whole family just because of your mindset you're going to travel somewhere. You're not sure if you're going to make it or not. And you have seen manifest people dying while they're going through the back way. So it becomes a bit difficult. We have seen minors and also women taking up the route as well.
So you've said there are factors involved. So what are some of those factors driving these people to take this risky journey?
Yes, so the factors might be multidimensional because, as we all know, it's irregular migration. But then I would have to first touch on what do we think is the reason why most non-Gambians are coming through the Gambia as a transit point to engage into irregular migration. The key factor on that is the lack of legislations that controls irregular migration. If you go to other countries like Senegal, you have very firm laws that tells you that this is what is going to happen if somebody engages into irregular migration. We're talking about the organizers, not the victims themselves. But if you come to the Gambia, it's a different case. So because of that legislative gap, they now would see it as a point. Instead of now trying to go through Senegal, let's use the Gambia as a transit point, then we move into irregular route. But again, if you coordinate and also ask most of them, why are you leaving? Some will talk about unemployment. But again, in that part, we sometimes have to also ponder over this. Why do we have most non-Gambians coming to the country, engage into so many activities? Why are they able to fend for their living? But still we see Gambians who will sit and say there is no job in the country. We would agree that the number of youths we have, it's quite high, that the jobs may not be adequate, but then at least we should be able to find a way to at least engage ourselves onto something. But then the mindset that there are no jobs in the country and that we can only make it if we go out there, it's also a concern. So to me, I believe the main factor is just a mental mindset.
True.
If we're able to change how we think and how we perceive issues, it might change.
So Mr. Inspector Lowe, so these foreigners that use Gambia as a route, if they are intercepted, what happens next? Are they deported or are they still maintained in our country?
So we wouldn't use the word deportations. Gambia is part of ECOWAS, and we also implement the free movement protocol of ECOWAS as well. And as you may know, we also have the ECOWAS biometric ID card, which gives all ECOWAS citizens the right to move freely within the ECOWAS bloc. So what happens is when we intercept non-Gambians, we have to engage with their embassies or their consulates. That this number of Senegalese, for example, have been intercepted because they were engaged into irregular migration. Now, we will engage with those authorities, and now we decide. They have 2 options. Those of them who want to go back to their country, we will help them to go to the border and hand them over to their authorities for them to go back to their country. Now, some of them might still want to stay within the country. In that case, what we do is we make sure that you do require documentations to be a non-Gambian. If you're from Senegal, you have to at least be given a particular pass to stay here for at least 90 days. And after 90 days, now you can also have your non-Gambian ID card. But then we have to always engage with the authorities before we take any other actions on this matter. Just of recent, the case we had on the 21st of March, we had 2 cases. 34 of them who are from Guinea were taken to the Jiboro border where they have to go back to the state because they choose to go back. We also had about 30 of them who are from Senegal. They are also taken to the Amdalai border for them to also go back home. So it is always based on their consent. It is always key to note that the migrants are not culprits. They are victims. They are victims of the system. Now, our main concern is those who organize these irregular routes. Because those are the ones we see as perpetrators in most of these cases.
So how often do you capture those people? Like, anytime a boat is intercepted, you will always hear, okay, they escaped, they're on the run. So
I think the only occasion when we had one of them on the run was the recent one of 21st of March, that is Abdullah Diop. And Abdullah left before we went. Maybe he had been informed that we were coming and then he ran away. But in all other cases we're talking about, the case that we had at Bara, 4 of them were all arrested. Now when we arrest them, remember we also have laws to go by. We cannot keep them for more than 72 hours without them being charged. So what we can do is prosecute them, and that now becomes a legal cost. So in most occasions you put them on bail, and now you continue with the court to decide their fate. But like I said before, the legislative gap too, it's a bit it's an impediment to us. Because even if you prosecute them, let's say for instance, the highest a person can be charged, could be fined by the court is about $50,000, the highest. In just one trip, irregular route, you can have millions of dollars. So if I am able to get 4 million in just one intercepted boat, and now I am charged to pay just $50,000, it becomes a venture for me. I would go back to the same routine and engage in the same practice. So we have been prosecuting them. All these cases I'm talking about, we have been able to get the culprits and they've been prosecuted. But now it becomes a legal course we have to go by and wait for due diligence to also be observed.
It's the immigration's duty to intercept migrants.
Yes.
But the immigration, are you thinking along the line of organizing maybe sensitization programs to tell these people, okay, it's dangerous to use this journey. Immigration have the right to intercept you. Do you educate them?
The GID had been going through so many transformations. If you've been following our activities, our greatest accomplishments recently is community engagement. Just yesterday, our director had an engagement with the Commander-in-Chief of Guardia Civil. And throughout his highlights, he made mention very clear that the primary key element of being able to mitigate this menace is through community engagements. So that is why at the GRA now we have what we call as the community engagement unit that works together with the PR office. We go to communities and talk to them. We engage on radios, on TVs and everywhere. Currently we're hosting a radio show weekly on Star FM, and then it's usual talk about this kind of issues. Just recently we had the MOU hosted there to talk about the effects of irregular migration. So we have been engaging the public. But again, I want us to also note that most of those who are going know very well the repercussions. They are aware. They have seen broken families. They have seen loved ones who have passed away. But they still want to take the risk of going. So no matter what we're doing, I think it has to be a collective responsibility. Because it is a family member who will take out money and give it to a boy to say, please go to the back way.
Is that part of your mitigation strategy to reduce this menace?
What exactly?
Talking to families, you know, because like you said, they come from a family and sometimes their parents will give them money. So is that part of your sensitization people?
Definitely. It's part of our strategies because when we, in fact, when we have interceptions, most of those we intercept, their families will also come to the ground. So what we do before releasing them is we cancel them. Talk to them that, okay, this and this have to be averted. And we at least provide a way for them to at least be focused as Gambians. Now, those family members too, we engage them because they are the ones that finance those people to travel. So we discuss with them too as to how best can they at least better utilize the amount being given to those migrants to at least engage into something more meaningful than taking the risk of irregular migration. But then it's a Gambian mindset, like I said before. Despite all efforts, it sometimes falls in deaf ears, and at the end, they will still engage.
They still move. Yeah, so let's talk about partnership with international organizations. I mean, to be able to mitigate the effect of irregular migration. Is the immigration also partnering with other organizations?
Yes, we're partnering with a lot of organizations. Remember, irregular migration becomes a global concern. It is a concern to the EU, a concern to ECOWAS, a concern to most other regional blocs within the world. So a key belief is that the best way to reduce this menace is through cooperations between states and also regions. For instance, the Gambia is part of what we call as the COP Gambia project. The COP project is where you have many West African countries all trying to devise mechanisms to reduce the irregular migration route. The initial phase had ended recently, and now we're in the second phase, COP Project 2. We also work, that particular COP Project form is implemented by the Spanish National Police together with us. Now, we also have the Guardia Civil that have also been helping us when it comes to operations, when it comes to trainings and capacity building. So we've been working hand in glove with them on these particular cases. Another important partner that we work with is DECAF, because like I said, we have laws that need to be in place. In 2023, DECAF was able to support the GID to develop an immigration bill. The immigration bill had a specific segment that focused only on smuggling of migrants. Because then we noticed that there's a gap. And then for us to close that gap, we have to first get a law that empowers us as a department to be able to fight against that. Now the bill is developed, and that bill, if implemented and if approved, will be able to now give us that empowerment as a department to be able to easily fight against irregular migration.
So what is delaying the bill to be passed?
Well, all necessary procedures from our end have been done. The bill had been submitted to the ministry even before 2024 started. And then we had also had some engagements with the ministry to make sure they understand the content of the bill, to draw a comparative analysis between the Immigration Act of 1965 and the bill of 2023. And at this point, all our faith now rests on the political will to post the bill to the cabinet. If cabinet make the approval to, it goes to the parliament, and from there it becomes enacted. But then as we're speaking, it's dragging, because we were hoping that by 2024 we'll be able to at least have the reform we were all hoping for as a department. But at this particular point, it's still at the ministry.
So what, Inspector Seaman, what are some of the challenges or the hurdles that are making it difficult for the interception of migrants, finally, before we close this segment?
Mr. Ba, I think despite all accomplishments, our greatest challenge are our challenges, if that in fact makes sense. But then I think our greatest challenge is legislation, like I said before. I wouldn't have to say the fact that we cannot make any meaningful change when we're empowered by legislative frameworks.
True.
Now, apart from the legislative framework, we also have a challenge with budgetary constraints, because the GID, as you know, works on documentation. We provide ID cards, passports, permits, there is continuous. We also issue visas and enter clearances. It is also our job to make sure that we make all our systems that are being used also run effectively. Now that added to the irregular migration campaign too becomes challenging. So usually our budget is not able to finance most of our engagements. And because of this budgetary constraint, we sometimes find it very hard to work effective. For instance, you're talking about community engagement. We have actually a work plan this year where we want to engage with schools and communities with regards to irregular migration. It is still on the table, because without the financial muscle, we cannot implement that. So we have good ideas, very active officers out there, a very directed department with a leader that is very much focused, but then if the financial muscle is not there, it becomes hard to work on that. Another challenge we also face when it comes to operation is mobility. Vehicles. As we speak, the unit that controls migration has only one vehicle that is functional for operations. Now, when they have, for example, interception that is made, let's say in Bruford, that vehicle will be the one to travel all the way to Bruford. Now, imagine if you also have to dispatch our investigative team to go to Tangi again for that particular part. So it becomes quite difficult for them to always work. So these three impediments are a great challenge to the work that we're doing in trying to mitigate irregular migration.
Lolly?
Yeah, that's it. I think if our governments are serious, they really need to empower institutions that are really trying to do work like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So thank you, Lolly. Thank you, Inspector Seaman, for coming. And we hope to engage you more in the future and keep updating the public as to what the Immigration Department is doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so viewers, this is all we have, and join us tomorrow again for another episode of QTV This Morning. Enjoy the rest of our program. Have a wonderful day.